Mayor Brian Marl, and we'll be talking a little bit about your history in Saline and then also some of your professional career and groups you're involved with. So thank you for coming by.
Very good. Thank you for having me, Chase.
To start with, when did you first join City Council in Saline?
Yeah, so I was a candidate for council and elected to council in November 2008. So I began serving as a member of council in January 2009. I stood for re-election and was re-elected in November 2010. So I served a total of 4 years on council prior to my election as mayor in November of 2012.
And what inspired you to run for council?
I've always had a real passion for public service. I think that if done right, public service and elected office in particular are some of the most noble callings. And I'm very into to serving others. And I thought that I could contribute something tangible on council. Prior to my election as a member of City Council, I had served on a number of boards and commissions and been very involved in the community. So I thought I had the experience and the right ideas to help move the city forward, and therefore I decided to run for council in 2008 and was fortunate enough to be elected.
And you were born and raised in Saline?
That's correct. Not in the municipal corporate limits of the city of Saline. I was born and raised in Saline Township and then moved into the city of Saline in July or August of 2005. Actually, in the home that my grandparents built in the fall of 1951.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then this previous election year, you ran for mayor.
Yep.
What was your inspiration behind that?
Well, I had had a conversation with my predecessor, Gretchen Driscoll, who's now our state representative. And she had indicated to me that she was not likely to run again for mayor, that she was seriously considering a candidacy for state representative for the 52nd District. So at that time, I began to meet with community leaders, some of my fellow elected officials, some leaders in the nonprofit community, some prominent business people, some people who I really respect and admire. And, we had a conversation about moving this community forward and whether they thought that I was the best person to lead the city as mayor. And I wouldn't play coy, Chase. I've always had ambitions and a dream to serve as mayor of this community. I love this community. If I didn't, I would have relocated a long time ago. So I had the ambition, for lack of a better way to articulate it, but I wanted to make sure that dream, that personal goal of mine, aligned with the goals of the people who I respect and people who I admire and people who have been deeply involved and ingrained in this community for a number of years. And the response that I received was overwhelming and almost unanimous, which was that they thought I should run, that I would be able to contribute something tangible as mayor, and that I would be a good mayor. And so after all those meetings and after some careful discernment and prayer, to be honest with you, I decided to announce my candidacy for mayor, and I believe I did so on March the 1st of last year.
And this election seen a reasonable mix-up with council as well.
Yep.
How do you see your election and some of the changes in council affecting the future, and how do you want the city to run and move in the future? Well,
I personally am very results-oriented, and I'm very goal-oriented. And one of the things that I ran on was sort of a 5-point platform for moving this community forward. And it's focusing on the 5 key areas that I think are crucial to Saline's short-term and long-term success, which is economic development, financial stewardship, support for public safety, investment in our infrastructure, and openness and transparency in communication, and the way we engage with our residents and the people we serve. And I think in this first 6-7 months as mayor, I think we've been able to make tangible progress on each one of those 5 points. We passed a balanced budget with no gimmicks, with no one-time fixes, okay? A budget that completely eliminated our budget shortfall by doing what I believe to be a temporary revenue enhancement, which will cost the average citizen about 18 additional cents a day. Okay, I think that's pretty nominal, and that allows us to continue to invest in public safety and in our infrastructure and in the services that people care the most about. We're moving forward on 2 important infrastructure projects this summer. Saline River Drive, which is a residential neighborhood, which is sort of out of sight, out of mind for many of us. But that street hasn't been seriously looked at since its inception, since it was developed in the early 80s. We're also going to do a real profound investment in our infrastructure in our industrial park in a section of Woodland Drive. So we're just doing a whole host of things. I think there's a lot of energy, a lot of momentum, a lot of synergy happening right now, and I think it's good for the city of Saline. We're not out of the woods yet. I keep saying that everywhere I go and to everyone that I talk to, excuse me. But I think we're making some progress and we're headed in the right direction.
Well, definitely, if there's any community that can ride the upswing in the economy and this state of affairs, it's Saline.
Yeah, I would like to think so.
So, outside of your role as mayor, you also work in Lansing.
Yep.
Also in a political environment, correct?
Correct.
Can you talk about that a little
Absolutely. So again, to reiterate a previous point, I believe that public service is my calling, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. I'm also very passionate about making government work and making sure that government delivers for the people that it serves. And so in addition to my responsibilities as mayor, which I think this would surprise many people, Chase, the mayor of the city of Saline makes $4,000 a year. So it requires a substantial investment of time and energy, but you don't do it for the money. You do it because you're passionate about the community, which I am. So if the job provided me no financial compensation, I would still do it because I love the job. And to get back to a previous point, that I mentioned earlier, this is really a dream come true for me. And I know that a lot of people don't get to live their dreams for 5 minutes. I get to live it every day as mayor of the city of Saline. So not to digress, of course. So in addition to my responsibilities as mayor, I work full-time in Lansing. I'm the legislative director for Adam Zemke, whose state house district doesn't include the city of Saline, but includes York and Pittsfield Township, which of course are 2 of our neighbors to the east, and then it includes a portion of the city of Ann Arbor Township, and Augusta Township. And so I help the representative with his committee assignments, with the drafting and submission of legislation, and of course I do some general clerical office work as well.
And do you feel that collaboration between being mayor and your professional career gives you an edge or gives you a new insight?
Yeah. I think not only does it give me an edge, but more significantly, more importantly, it gives the people I serve in the Saline community an edge. I think my involvement, my connections, my years of experience in Lansing is an asset to the city of Saline. And I'll give you what I think to be a very tangible example. And you'll recall this because you're at most of our council meetings recording them for the general public. We recently adopted new policies relating to the use and discharge of commercial-grade fireworks. Okay, that was a law that was enacted during the previous legislative session, but there was an amendment to that statute that was introduced just this summer. Okay, because of my position in Lansing, I think I was able to monitor that very carefully, and we were able to act in a very timely way to insert into our ordinance some appropriate adjustments. Now, in my opinion, the law doesn't go far enough, and I'd like to have more restrictions on the discharge of commercial-grade fireworks. But nevertheless, it's an improvement and a step in the right direction. I think that's just one tangible example of how being on the ground in Lansing and having connections in Lansing and understanding the legislative process benefited the citizens of Saline.
Now, earlier in the conversation, we mentioned some of the committees that you were involved with, not by name.
Right.
Would you like to mention some of them so people know what you're passionate about and
right. So I chair the Saline Area Fire Board, which consists of representatives from the City of Saline, Lodi Township, Saline Township, and York Township, and then one at-large member. And we deal with the governance of our fire department. Again, our fire department is a little bit unique because it's not a city department. It's a department that has a sort of a region that it serves and represents, which is a great benefit to the taxpayers in Saline, because if we had to foot the bill for an entire department, we would pay substantially more than we currently pay. So I chair that. I serve on the Planning Commission. I'm not the chair of the Planning Commission, but I do serve on the Planning Commission, which reviews site plans and developments. They have a lot of power. That's a very, very important board, and we think very critically when we appoint people to that board in particular. So in addition to Fire Board and Planning Commission, I chair the Economic Development Boards, EDC, TIFA, and LDFA. And actually, there's some good synergy happening there. I really hate that word. I think it's really cliche, but for lack of a better way to articulate it, we've got a subcommittee formed that's looking at our development plans, a Spark analysis that we received on business attraction and retention, and also all the promotional materials that we provide to prospective business owners and investors when they come to the Saline community. So I think that's pretty exciting. I should also add that for the first time in city history, we're marketing all of the municipally owned vacant land, most of which resides and exists in the industrial park, okay? There's no benefit to the city of Saline being the deed holder to those parcels. The benefit is when you transfer those from public ownership to private ownership, and businesses can expand, they can grow, investments can be made, and jobs can be created. So I just want not to digress, but I wanted to throw that out there. So Economic Development Boards, Fire Board, Planning Commission are the three main capacities, or the three main boards and commissions that I serve on as mayor of the city of Saline.
And I can attest to this. Any community event I go to, including school events, I see you there. So you're a busy guy.
Yes, I am. And in addition to those city boards and commissions, I had served 4 years as congregational president of my church, St. Paul, which is in the heart of downtown Saline. I'm the vice president of the Saline Area Schools Historic Preservation Foundation, which oversees and maintains the Weber Bliss Schoolhouse. I'm also a teacher there. And then I also serve on the organizational team for Michigan Main Street. Saline Main Street, excuse me.
And I know we covered this a little bit, but is there anything else in the near future or moving forward for Saline that you really want people to know about, or you're really spearheading?
Yeah, again, I'm going to remain focused and committed to those 5 key areas that I think are crucial to Saline's long-term success. People may not always agree with the positions and priorities I set, Chase, but they'll always know where I stand, what I believe in, and where I want to help lead this community. And I think, I've been talking about those 5 main points, those key areas for the past year and a half. That seems to really resonate with people. Most people get it. Most people believe that's where our focus should be. The other thing that I would mention, since you posed the question, is in order for us to make tangible progress on those 5 key areas, we need contributions and support from the citizens that we serve, the people that we represent. So as we speak about these boards and commissions, we always have vacancies. We always need people to serve in those capacities. So I would encourage people to check out our city website, to give me a call, shoot me an email, to identify what boards and commissions have vacancies, where their talents lie, and hopefully we can align them up with one of those vacancies so that they can serve their community in a meaningful way.
Great. And after this interview, we'll list some of the website address and
That'd be terrific,
so that people can get a hold of you.
That'd be terrific.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention? Get out the...
The only other thing that I would say, Chase, is that I greatly appreciate your time and inviting me here. I look forward to seeing all these interviews, not only with myself, but with, I believe you're going to be interviewing all of my council colleagues. So I look forward to hearing their perspectives and their thoughts, and I hope that we can do this on a routine basis so that these interviews don't get stale, and that people can understand what we're up to and what our goals are.
Sounds great. Okay. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Chase.
All right, thank you very much.